So the first one, and honestly, I think this is the most important piece, is professional branding, because this helps set the tone for everything else from your website design and even to your marketing. Before you even think about designing, really diving deep into your brand and getting clear on your vision, your mission, and what really sets you apart in the space as well. Getting to know your audience, that actually reflects the feeling and the experience you want people to have when they interact with your brand.
This is market research. I cannot stress this enough. If you want to know exactly what is going to resonate with your people and then apply it to how you wish to be showing up online, then you need to do market research. You need to. And a lot of people shy away from it, but it's a necessity in order to create the success that you want within your business, within your brand. I love that you start there. This is something that I always hunker down on. First time somebody comes into my door as a client, they get a brand Bible created for them. And it makes a world of difference. Who needs a website these days anyway? We've got social media profiles. We can add links. We can just post on there and send people somewhere. I think we need to talk to an expert. That's why we have Shiva here today. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself, why this topic matters to her, and why it absolutely matters to you. Shiva, welcome to the show.
Hi, Shauna. Thanks so much for having me. And I'm so excited to be here. So my name's Shiva, and I'm an illustrator. I'm a brand and website designer, and I'm also a certified holistic nutritionist. And I specialize in helping health and wellness practitioners, clinic owners, and coaches to build elevated brands and websites that actually support their growth and visibility online. And my background is actually in art. I have been drawing ever since I can remember. I studied scientific and technical illustration, and then a few years later, I decided to go back to school for holistic nutrition when I started going through my own health challenges. And that experience really opened my eyes to how powerful this work is and the kind of impact practitioners can have when they're really supported properly. And at the time, I really wasn't sure how I was going to bring these two paths together. So it actually happened really organically. People started to notice that I had a background in design and started to ask me to create brochures and recipe cards and logos. And that actually led to website design. And what I started to see was that so many incredible, talented practitioners were doing amazing work, but their branding and online presence wasn't reflecting that. So there was this gap between the level of care that they were providing and how they were showing up online. And that's really what I focus on now, is helping to bridge that gap and supporting my clients in creating brands that feel aligned, that communicate their value clearly, and ultimately help them attract the right clients with more ease and confidence.
Oh my goodness. And that's what we want, right? We want to feel just like everything in business is in flow, that we feel aligned and we're showing up in a way that actually keeps our fire burning, not drains it of all of its energy. And these things matter.
Yeah.
So when you're helping people with their brand, where in the conversation does the website usually come up? Because a lot of people these days are asking me, do I even really need one? And I think you and I both agree that it's kind of a staple to owning a professional business.
Absolutely. I think that having a website is so important and honestly one of the key elements to growing that business. I find a lot of practitioners are afraid to take that step to open up their own space, and they start on social media. But having your own space where you're attracting clients and all that, you're creating your own personalized messaging, your copy, and you're creating a curated client journey to simplify the process for someone who's already overwhelmed and needs support from you.
Absolutely. And I think that client journey is a really important conversation to be had. And while you can absolutely and should absolutely create a client journey through social media or through email marketing, whichever avenues you're leveraging at this time, it's really important to have a hub, that settled place where people can find you, where you have control of all of the moving pieces.
Exactly. And you can have a website, but if you're not using email lists to capture your audience, then you're also leaving a lot of business on the table, and you're leaving a lot of opportunity for people to get to know you out on the table as well, because that's where people are going to really connect with you and see the work that you're putting out. And these are the people that are really interested in learning more about how they can work with you.
Yeah, because those are the people who want to dive deeper into your world.
Exactly.
So you've really got to create world, that catchment where people want to be involved.
Exactly.
Now, in the past, you were talking a little bit about different phases of website development and the things that are required to make a damn good website. So it does all of these jobs. Can you walk through, let's start with just the first part of that. And maybe we can, I know that I'll have a ton of questions, and I'm thinking in the mind of all of you who have joined us for this conversation today. I will ask whatever questions I know usually come up on my end, and then make sure that as we start going through these different sections, that you leave comments in our comment section so we can answer them later as well if we've missed anything, because this is a really integral conversation to be a part of. So Shiva, what's the first part of website development that we need to be considering?
So the first one, and honestly, I think this is the most important piece, is professional branding, because this helps set the tone for everything else from your website design and even to your marketing. Before you even think about designing, really diving deep into your brand and getting clear on your vision, your mission, and what really sets you apart in the space as well. Getting to know your audience, that actually reflects the feeling and the experience you want people to have when they interact with your brand.
This is market research. I cannot stress this enough. If you want to know exactly what is going to resonate with your people and then apply it to how you wish to be showing up online, then you need to do market research.
Yeah.
You need to. And a lot of people shy away from it, but it's a necessity in order to create the success that you want within your business, within your brand. I love that you start there. This is something that I always, always, always hunker down on. First time somebody comes into my door as a client, they get a brand Bible created for them. And it makes a world of difference. So once you have that solid foundation, what next?
The second piece is your copy. So the words that you're going to be using on your website and also in your marketing as well. Your copy really needs to speak directly to your audience and the person you're trying to attract. It's not about sounding impressive or clever. It's about being really clear and relatable and really specific, so your audience immediately feels like this is for me.
I love that you take this approach, because a lot of people, I remember this when I first started getting into copywriting years ago, because that's where I started my business, is in content and copywriting. And there was a huge trend to have all of the buttons say things like, yes, girl. And I was like, oh, well, listen, I'm just the copywriter at that time. I was not the branding person. I was not. And so I would write it. And I remember thinking, I met this person. I've met this.
It doesn't feel right. And imagine how somebody interacting with that brand on that website is also feeling when they come across a call to action like that.
Yes. Well, and the thing is, if somebody comes across that and it actually does resonate and they click it and then they start working with you and you are not that person, that client experience is now sabotaged. Their trust is broken.
Yeah.
So you're right. Yes, copywriting and the way you put your messaging out there in a way that's authentic, true to you, clear and concise matters.
So important. And this is where also investing in a professional copywriter can be so so beneficial because your messaging becomes very clear, becomes aligned, and it naturally builds trust, and it makes it so much easier for someone to say yes to work with you.
Yes. And the other part too, I just always like to share this piece as a copywriter, as somebody who loves writing. There's a book, have it back here. I'm not going to dig it out because I think 6 different things will fall, but it's called On Writing by Stephen King.
Amazing.
And he talks about how you should just like your piece of literature in this case, but this is applicable to your copywriting. Cut it in half. And then just when you think you've cut it in half again.
Yeah.
Because you've probably put way too much into it. Your copywriting really needs to be concise. It needs to be tight.
Yeah.
Your messaging needs to be able to be conveyed in as little words as possible.
Especially at a time where people feel so overwhelmed and they're just skimming content, right? And you want it to be really accessible to a client that is going through those emotions and those feelings.
100%. They need to be able to know right away if you're the right person for them, if you're going to actually solve their problem.
Exactly.
So you've got your brand, you've got your copywriting. What's next?
So the third one is high quality photos. And this is a really big one. Your visuals can instantly elevate, or it can completely take away from how professional your brand really feels. So whether you're investing in a brand photographer or purchasing stock photos, the quality of your images really matter.
So tell me a little bit more about this, because when I hear somebody say you're investing in a brand photographer, the first thing that jumps into my mind is, oh, headshots. I've got those. But I feel like over the years, I've spoken to many people who do parallel work to me. And I suggest all of you who've joined us today, do that. Find someone who does work that is parallel to you with the same audience in the same kind of direction. Make friends with them. It's a trick. And when I talk to them, they have this like way of thinking about what a brand photographer does. And I don't think I ever really have been able to put it into one sentence. Can you tell me what that looks like?
Yeah, for sure. So a brand photography is an extension of your brand. Really want it to be cohesive. So once you've set the foundations for your brand, the visuals, then the photography should come along and kind of align with your branding. Photos should feel really cohesive with your brand and really reflect the level of experience and the results that your clients are expecting from you. And to be able to tell that story as well.
Ooh, so now I've got 2 questions. You're always going to have more questions from me. So is this person looking for colors that match and like mood that matches? And then we'll take pictures of, I don't know, a local coffee shop, little different things like that, and maybe a wardrobe or whatever they see, like actively go out and seek for looking for photos online that have a specific color and mood to them?
Yes, exactly. So you want everything to be cohesive. You want everything to look clean and professional. I'm not saying that it needs to be curated and cookie cutter looking, but you want it to have the right vibe and feeling for your brand.
It's got to pass the vibe check.
Yes.
So the other question I have now is about that storytelling, because that can be kind of tricky to articulate when we're talking about creating your website. Yeah. And we're using your visual brand, the foundation of your brand, your words, and then also the images to create a story. What do you mean by that? I'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, so when you're creating that story, you're thinking about who they're going to be interacting with once they're going through that process. Are you the face of your brand? Do you need to put a photo of you on the website so that people know who they're interacting with and what kind of process you have, and really showcasing your process. So having kind of behind the scenes images included. And then also thinking about the transformation that your clients are going to have. How are they going to look? How are they going to feel? And how are you going to be embodying that through visuals on your website so that your audience can connect with that.
Okay, tactical, practical question. Everybody who's been here for any length of time, they know that I love this tactical, practical thing, because that's all really good information and we need to apply it. So if somebody's going to your website and the first thing they see is your hero statement, which is like top of your homepage, that thing they see, the messaging is clear. I help so-and-so with such and such, yada, yada. In that hero image or some thereabouts, are we showing an image that reflects how they're feeling now, or what the outcome
should look like? Because you don't want images of people looking depressed and sad. You want people to see where they're going to be once they've worked with you, and that feeling that they're going to have once that aha moment comes and they're just like, they've gone through that transformation with you.
See, now we're cooking. Because now all of you who have joined us today, you can go out there and be like, wait, does my website do that? It's a really valid point. I've been to websites where you and I both, we typically are working with coaches, therapists, service-based providers. We go there and the first image is of somebody crying.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, we might want to make some changes.
It's kind of sad when you end up on a site like that. You feel like, oh, not good. You're already not feeling good. You want to feel good, right?
and I understand what the thought would have been behind putting that there, because it's relatable.
Exactly.
And we want to show that we're not going to keep you in that space. Okay, so what's next? We've got our foundation. We have our words that are amazing and directive. And we have our imagery that is really telling the story of the transformation that our clients want.
So the fourth one is testimonial. And this is really important for building trust. So testimonials act as social proof. They show potential clients, other people have had a positive experience with you, and that you can actually deliver on your promise and the transformation that you're going to provide your clients. So this really helps you position yourself as an expert, without you having to say very much yourself. Your clients are doing the heavy lifting for you in a way. And so wherever possible, you want to sprinkle testimonials, whether it's on your website or in your marketing, especially near key decision points. So service pages are really great, booking pages, because people want to feel more confident in taking that next step with you.
Absolutely. And I remember writing sales pages, and the rule of thumb at that point in time was 4 testimonials sprinkled within the sales page, and usually around, of course, those decision points. And I've carried that into all sorts of avenues. So if you are creating your website, of course, those testimonials are going to be important. And many of you are going to be sending people to your website from places like LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a really great resource where you can actually recommend people, leaving testimonials on their profile. Do you know where that's stored? Right at the bottom.
Ah, so far away.
That's great. So I'm often telling people, hey, listen, pick your top 2 to 4 testimonials that you love, that really highlight what you're doing right now, the transformation you create. Mm-hmm. And if they're short, awesome. If they're too long, create a brief version of it and get an okay from the person who wrote it and include it in your about.
That's such a great strategy. Oh, I love that.
I want to wave flags right now about testimonials.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to just push is that if you don't have a place where you're storing your testimonials, I don't care if it's a Google sheet, okay? Link, testimonial, whatever, from all sorts of places, create that now.
Yeah. Even if they're just screenshots, you gotta, yeah.
Even if it's absolutely, if you need to screenshot it and just put it into a Google folder, not Google Drive or whatever, somewhere, wherever you store your things, cool, do that. I still suggest to type it out in a location, because then you can copy and paste it when you need it for your copy.
Having a photo of the person is a bonus. Having a video testimonial is even better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, video testimonials are a whole new, the whole thing. If you have questions about that, please drop a comment, because I think that both Shiva and I can probably support you with that. With what does that even look like? Because it's the thing. Now, that said, there's a piece of this that influences everything else. And it's that final 5th point. Please tell everybody what that is.
That final and 5th point is creating an easy onboarding process for your clients. So when someone lands on your website, It should feel really simple and intuitive for them to take that next step, whether that's booking a call or getting in touch with you. So it's really thinking about that user journey from the moment someone lands on your homepage. How easily is it for them to find what they need? Is it obvious where they go next?
I cannot stress how important your onboarding is.
Mm-hmm.
And not just your onboarding, but I'm going to use onboarding as an example for each separate experience that a person has with you. Throughout the marketing, your marketing and sales journey, that has different steps to it. And their experience in each of those steps matters in order to drive them toward the next step. That marketing journey needs to continue and be seamless into your onboarding. And then throughout their experience with you, through their offboarding. But that onboarding experience is going to tell them whether, like, it sets the scene for whether or not they've made a good choice.
Yeah. When you guide your visitors through that process in a clear and intentional way and remove that friction and overwhelm, it makes it so much easier for them to move forward with you.
And everything that you just told us, your foundation, your visuals, your photos, your testimonials, all of those things need to be a part of that journey as well. I don't even want to dive into the tactical part of that, because honestly, working out workflows is something that you need to call Shiva and myself, and I've got a good handful of other people who do some pretty cool stuff with that too. Like these people will help you to outline everything to make sure that it runs smoothly. That said, I want to talk a little bit more about their experience in that and how it should feel.
It should feel easy. Yeah. Process should be easy. Thinking about what that main first goal is and that first step for them to take that's really important for you, and using that to guide that journey.
When you say first step, I'm curious about it, because their first step would have been guided by their marketing, which was, hey, book this call, buy this product, do this thing, etc. Now they've done the thing. They're being onboarded. So their first step upon having made the choice, yes, you're for me.
Yeah.
Would you say is the most common first step that people give in that journey?
Booking that call to get that information and to get onboarded onto the service or package that that practitioner provides.
Do you see, everybody who's joined today for this conversation can just hear that it's that easy. Just book your call. You're okay. You made the right choice. I have you. In fact, I have you so safe right now that all you need to do is book a call with me, and we'll be set. We're off to the races.
And having that clear call to action, that button, say, book a call, rather than going with something fancy, being really clear about it.
Fancy. Now, this is the question. This is the be all and end all question. Because a lot of this, and I've mentioned LinkedIn, we've mentioned briefly spoken about some other social media points. How does the website differ in creating that journey versus choosing a social media platform?
When you are operating from a social media website, you don't have control over who sees your work. You don't have control over the client journey. You don't have control over the algorithm. You basically have very little control over how your brand is seen and how people interact with it. And that's why having that a website and creating those is so important. It's one of the most important assets in your business that's working 24 hours a day for you.
So it's that customization.
Exactly.
I love it. We've gone full circle. We've come from a place of who needs a website anyway to actually, I get to create the world in which my prospective and current and past clients get to return to and feel something that drives action to growing my business. Mm-hmm. That's huge. Now, I need to ask you one final question, and anybody who's been here for any length of time will know what it is, because I never like anybody to walk away from this conversation feeling like, okay, great information, but what the hell do I do with it? So if you could bestow upon our audience one thing, one golden nugget that they can take with them from this call and apply it today, next week, or next month, or maybe multiple times in the months to come, what would it be? Now, before I let you answer, because that is a loaded question, to distill your expertise into one thing, I'm going to take a moment to remind everyone who's joined us today that these conversations happen every single week. And you can be a part of it. If you ring the bell, subscribe, and pay attention to those notifications, then you can actually join us for the conversations. Make sure you leave comments, ask questions. We're here to help, and we want you to succeed. Now, with that, I will step down, hand the mic over to Shiva, and please tell the people what they need to hear.
I say the number one takeaway here is to start getting clear on your ideal client and the problem that they are facing and what you're solving for them. Even a short exercise, writing down who they are, what they need, and how you're helping them and supporting them, and getting clear on your vision, your mission, your values will help guide every decision about your website, your messaging, and your brand visuals. Creating a brand with strategy at its heart is going to have such a big impact on your business, from helping you get more visibility to confidently attracting the right clients and getting in front of your audience. I actually have an amazing free guide that you can download to work through all of this, and that's confidently attract line clients to your business. So you can actually find that at shivanasiri.com/free. Thanks.
That's beautiful. No, I love it to bits and pieces. And the fact of the matter is, having somebody who's able to walk you through developing your better understanding of who your aligned clients are in order to confidently convert them into actual clients, that's massive. And all of you who have joined us today, you're going to find a QR code on the screen, and you're also going to find a link in the show notes that's going to guide you to that guide. You're going to want to check that out. And why not? It's free, right? If you need the guidance, Shiva is definitely the person to give you exactly what you need in that book. Now, with that, I want you all to remember that none of this that we said has to be perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. You just need to get it done. So go, if you don't have a website yet, start it up. Put something together. Remember to reflect on your brand foundation, your copywriting, the images that you choose, the testimonials that you can pull from. If you need help with testimonials, I got you. I remember a day, before I tell you that last bit, I remember a day when I was testimonials for myself, and I actually used a testimonial from my own grandmother. And this was probably about 12 years ago. You can start anywhere, okay? Trust me, we'll get it done. Nothing needs to be perfect. And that last bit is to remember that client journey throughout onboarding as well, because all of that matters, and all of that can be rooted, customized, and curated through your website. With that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Shiva, thank you so much for having this conversation with me, and we'll chat soon.